Hey everyone, my name is Caitlin. Welcome back to my channel. As some of you might know, my last 3 uploads have been on my moving out process. So, you know, moving into the house, painting the house, renovating it, all that sort of crazy stuff. But it's actually been 6 months since those vlogs, even though I might have only uploaded a couple of them last month. Woo, for the power of editing. It's actually been an entire 6 months since we've last spoken, which I am so sorry about. It just got quite overwhelming. You kind of underestimate how crazy it is to move into a house on your own, and then suddenly you're stuck under a tidal wave of just adult life and work. So this video is going to be a 6-month recap on living on my own, how I'm surviving, and what it's like moving out at 18. Segue intro. Okay, so just as a little bit of background information for those of you who don't know, last year at 18 years old, I moved out of my parents' house and into my own. No, I'm not entirely crazy, just a little stubborn. So originally I'd planned to move out with a couple of friends, but when that fell through, I was already so sold on the idea of just having that independence, just, you know, being an adult. Having my own space and being able to decorate it and fill it with whatever I wanted, that I just decided that I was still gonna do it anyway. And I mean, like, no offense to my mum's decorating abilities, but yeah. No, I'm joking. So fast forward to the end of June, I moved in and began this amazing process of learning to live with myself. That sounds really weird. I mean, like, you know, live on my own, learn to be in my own company, that sort of thing. But anyways, it was just an amazing journey of surviving on my own. Now, if you're 18 and wanting to move out, let me just tell you that it is so possible to do. Lots of people will tell you that you can't or you won't be able to afford it. But also people tell me. People keep on like saying that, you know, I'd be home within the month, or I'll be bringing washing home for mum to do because obviously I didn't know how to wash my own clothes. And just that it's like really hard renting and that I wouldn't be able to survive on my own. Also, this video is dedicated to those people. Don't listen to them. It is 100% possible to live on your own at 18, even if you don't have like a lot of money. The main thing you need to know about moving out though is that yes, it's hard, and yes, it will take a lot of work, but it is so worth it. It's also the reason I haven't posted in 6 months, because those first couple of months I was just head down working, trying to, you know, get to my next paycheck so I can pay my rent and, you know, keep eating. And I do think that those first couple of months are the hardest, because one, you have your bond, then you have the first rent, and then you have all your bills sort of just come in this one cluster, and it's just, but it's okay, because like I said, it is so worth it. Once you get past that hurdle, it's, I mean, not easy living, but you know, it's comfortable. Okay, so how did I do it? When I moved in, I was actually pretty broke. I had only just started at a good paying and stable job about 4 weeks prior, so I'd only had 2 paychecks in that time. And I'd used quite a lot of the money that I had saved up, you know, prior to working at that job on the decorating of the house and, you know, the painting and stuff like that, because I'm a narcissist. So considering that, yeah, the first couple of weeks were a bit rough. I was like going over to mum's every couple of nights just to have dinner. But there are ways that you can minimize the cost of when you first move in. Like, I didn't use a moving truck. Gotta get my water. So yeah, I didn't hire a moving truck. I called up most of my family and they all just sort of came over to my mum and dad's with all their cars, and we just loaded up any furniture, all my stuff, we just loaded it up into their cars and we just convoyed over to my house. If you don't have that ability to call on family, it's still not much of a worry, because I managed to fit everything that was in my room, I could fit in my car. It was just mainly the furniture that I had been storing for, you know, another 6 months prior to moving in, because I was a bit, I tried jumping the gun and I bought quite a lot of it very quickly and very far ahead. So if you just move all the stuff you can fit into your car and then you will focus on buying furniture once you're in, then you won't need a moving truck. And I'm also just going to touch very quickly on decorating your house or apartment wherever you're moving into. So I was super anal about moving into a house and making sure it was nice and decorated like within the first couple of weeks or the first couple of months. And that was sort of just my choice because I didn't want to live in an empty house. So there's no pressure on trying to fill your space within those first couple of months. Literally, it can take as long as you need it to. I'm assuming that you've just come from a small room in a house that you've shared with your parents. You're not gonna have that much stuff. Even all the stuff that I had, I sort of struggled to spread it out over the amount of rooms that I have in this house. I've still got empty rooms now because I just don't have anything to put in them. And there's also the cheap ways of doing it. Obviously, if you want, you can go directly to, you know, the furniture stores and stuff like that. What I did was I chose a couple of main items that I wanted and I knew I wanted to buy brand new. So I bought my coffee table, my TV, which isn't really furniture, but it was one of those things, my dining table and my dining chairs. So it was the 4 things that I chose that I knew I wanted to spend that money on, that little extra money, instead of getting them cheaper. The rest though, I just went to Gumtree, Facebook Market, the Verge side pickups. I'm not gonna lie, I did pick up furniture from the side of the road. That is my life. That or family and friend hand-me-downs, and that's literally how I furnish my house. The most of the furniture that came from Gumtree and Facebook, it's actually super good quality. Most people are actually just selling like brand new furniture just because they don't want it anymore or it doesn't look good in their house. So you'll be actually surprised how much good stuff you can find on those sort of sites. So yeah, it was 100% worth it to do it like that. It saved so much money. And yes, I did go to IKEA because when you're moving out for the first time, there's a hype around IKEA. Even if you're just decorating, IKEA. So yes, I did go to IKEA and I did grab quite a lot from there. But IKEA. You can't say no to IKEA. Alright, now bills. I got bills, I gotta pay, so I'ma work. Alright, so I'm just gonna sort of break it down. I've grabbed a couple of my bills I've grabbed all my bills that I have received since moving in. It's been around 24 weeks. So I'm just gonna divide them all by that just to sort of see how much I've spent each week on the different areas. Now I do most of my bills and my rent and stuff, I do it in fortnight blocks, but I'm just gonna sort of transfer that all to weekly so it makes it easier. So each week I pay $300 rent. Now that is a lot. I'm in quite a big house. If you're 18 and wanting to move out, there are much smaller places that you can find for a lot cheaper. There's even like shared houses. If you still do want a big house, you can go shared houses. There's other people in there and it just brings the rent cost right down. So $300 is a bit higher than normal. So don't freak out at $300. For electricity, I am paying $13 a week. For gas, I pay $6 a pay. Got a bit of an accent. So for gas, I pay $6 a week. This one's even crazier. Like it's actually just mental how cheap it is. So over the 24 weeks that I have lived in this house, I have spent $3 a week on water. $3. That's including your washing machine, your dishwasher, your showers, gardens, the retic, garden hose, I don't know, everything that you use water for. It's $3 a week. That is pretty cheap. Now I'm paying $17 a week for internet. Can I just say that those $17 are just well spent, because living on your own, you don't have to share your internet with another 3 people. So your internet is very fast. Now for things like Netflix, I leech off my parents' Netflix, but they leech off my family Spotify, so it's a bit of an even trade. But you guys you'd know how much Netflix costs. I don't know how much Netflix costs. I would say the most expensive thing has actually just been my car, mostly for the reason of fuel, even just the upkeep and any sort of repairs and stuff I need to do on it. But fuel has been quite expensive. I use the premium unleaded 95. So going back a couple of months, it was averaging at like $1.60. Now it's sort of dropped down and I can fuel up on a Monday for around $1.20, which is so much better. Like, I nearly cried when I first saw that. But yeah, if you are planning to move out, I do recommend you have a car, just because I know that it would make it so much easier for you to get around. So public transport would probably just make it that little bit harder, and you know, the price would probably even out somewhere in the middle between the car and the transport. Food! I'm not gonna lie, there's been a couple of times I've come to the end of my paycheck and been like, okay, oats for breakfast. Okay, cool, oats for dinner as well. And that's what I eat for the next 3 days until I get paid. But that's really only just because I haven't wanted to take money back out of my spending account just to buy food. If it goes in my savings account, it doesn't come out unless I'm internet shopping. Unless it's important. But food can be so cheap, especially when you're just buying for one person. Food lasts a lot longer. So like, I was buying things like a loaf of bread, and I had to put that loaf of bread in the freezer because I was the only one eating it and it was about to go stale, and it took me about a month and a half to actually finish it. So when you're not stupid with it, grocery shopping is actually super enjoyable. I love grocery shopping. It's really weird, unless you see someone you know walking down the other aisle and you have to quickly hide behind your trolley. And it always makes it so much more rewarding when you know that you've been buying the cheap version to save a bit of money, and then come 1 week you have that little extra cash, you can decide to splurge. Get the gourmet brand, become a chef. So for my groceries and stuff, I go grocery shopping generally every second week. So when I get paid, I pay my rent, and then I go shopping with the leftovers sort of thing. $150 maximum for every 2 weeks. So that's not too bad. I mean, I'm not trying to be cheap with it. I don't find the need to go for a cheaper brand. Sometimes I will, like for eggs and stuff like that, I go cheap. But when it comes to things that I know that I prefer the healthier gourmet brand of a certain food, I will buy it because I know I can, and that's the choice you get to make when you're living on your own. You get to choose what you spend your money on. So now when it comes to my job, I don't go to uni, so I can work full time. Monday to Thursday, I work from 7 AM to 4 PM. Then Fridays I work 7 AM to 1 PM. But if you are studying and you won't better get a job during the day, there's always part-time jobs, and I have seen people do it when they are studying still. And like you have seen, it is pretty cheap. I don't know, you can always live up to the stereotype of, college kids living off ramen. And I mean, I lived off ramen for the first 2 weeks, and then I slowly started realizing that my body was gonna shut down if I continued along that road. As long as you're sensible with it and you choose what to spend your money on, then you'll be totally fine. A friend of mine is super into bands and going to gigs and stuff like that. So she decides to go to those and spend the money on tickets for those instead of saving that little extra money for food when, the paycheck starts to run out. So when she does get to the end of her paycheck and she's, living off the dregs, she doesn't complain because she knows that she's chosen to have that experience with her favorite bands instead of that. I think that's like the best thing about being an adult and like living on your own. You get to choose everything. You get to choose if you're gonna take a sickie off work, or if you know that you're saving that one paid day off for a holiday you've been saving up for. You get to choose if you want your nails done, or if you would rather put that extra cash to a camera you've been saving up for. It all comes down to you. And I know I've been guilty of a couple of times, splurging on internet shopping. It's really a cardinal sin. I've got to be honest. It just sort of drags you in by the hairs and just doesn't let go. So there you are, guys. That is how I've survived living on my own at 18, now 19. And if this is something you found helpful, make sure to give the video a like. And I will be touching on the subjects of moving out, living on your own, managing your own expenses, stuff like that in the future. So if that's interesting to you, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I will definitely see you later on. All right, bye guys.
Make $10 million.
Cool. Yay! I finally made it through recording. This video has taken me so long to record. Oh my god, each time I sit down to record it, something happens and I just put it off for another month. So yeah, that's how it's been 6 months. Wow. That's a new level of procrastination, and I know. I'm aware. I'm a little bit proud, a little bit shamed, but mostly aware. I'm now giving out lessons on how to procrastinate this badly. Right, I'm gonna go make myself some lunch. Catch you later.